That's it from us. Now on BBC One, it's time for the news where you are. Have a very good night. Bye-bye.
Hello and welcome to the Look East Late News. Yes, this is a special programme coming live from my house in Essex. Why? Well, it's part of my week-long Green Challenge. And instead of driving all the way to Norwich to present the programme, Steve, the cameraman, who lives just down the road, and I thought we could do it from my living room. I know, we're absolutely bonkers. Later on, we'll meet the greenest woman in the region. But first, let's get today's news. And in the last few hours, a major decision for the region's biggest airport. Plans to expand Stansted Airport have been thrown out by Uttlesford District Council. The airport's owners say they're disappointed the council ignored the recommendations of experts, lawyers and its own officers. Alex Dunlop reports.
Expansion here for now is on hold. Tonight's vote will come as a huge blow for Stansted. It currently handles 28 million passengers a year, but has a cap of 35 million. The airport wanted to lift that to 43 million passengers, which would see its growth through to 2028.
It allows people from East Anglia to get into this airport rather than having to go into London.
And Stansted has actually got a really good access route, and so personally I'd be in favour of it growing.
But at a planning meeting today, Uttlesford District councillors threw it out by 10 votes to nil, with 2 abstentions.
We cannot allow this airport expansion to go through and add to the destruction of our planet.
We do not want to go down in history as the people who did nothing when they could.
The council had approved the plan 2 years ago, but after the Residents for Uttlesford group took control from the Conservatives in May, the decision was referred back to the committee. The airport had offered to invest £35 million in the local area. That was described by opponents as a bribe. Environmental groups are delighted with tonight's vote, but local business groups are furious, saying it smacks of NIMBYism. Stansted says it's considering its next steps, but it's highly likely it'll appeal this decision. Alex Dunlop, BBC Look East.
In other news, the chief executive of a mental health trust says he's angry and dismayed by an email mistakenly sent by a senior press officer to a local newspaper. In the email, Mark Prentice said the Norfolk and Suffolk Foundation Trust had got away with it after the media failed to directly criticise the trust over the death of a woman in a care home.
That sort of email is not in the culture of the trust that I want to lead. So I'm determined that we'll address the cultural issues within this organisation and within that comms team to make sure this does never happen again.
In football, it's a big day on Sunday for 2 of our women's teams in the FA Cup. Ipswich ladies seen training here, and Billericay ladies have never reached round 4 of the competition. Both are underdogs up against higher-ranked opposition. Ipswich go to Huddersfield, while Billericay head to Lewes from the Championship. Now, Steve, the cameraman, do you fancy a walk to the kitchen? Hopefully we'll stay on air. All this week I have been going greener to spend more time in the kitchen. Well, that's where I've been spending more time. Cooking locally sourced food. And you know what? I thought I was doing well until I met the greenest woman in the region early today. Take a look at this.
My name's Katie Seaman. We've been going greener for 4 years now. Let me show you around our house. One of the first changes we made was to switch to hankies, which saves us on buying packets of tissues. And in the bathroom, we've really simplified what we use, which saves on waste. And a good place for people to start is an old school safety razor, which should last a lifetime and the blades can be recycled.
But is it cheaper to do it this way, or does it cost more, Katie, realistically?
I think you could easily spend a lot more money on it if you weren't careful, but ultimately the most sustainable solution is to use what you have. So by using what you already have and reducing what you do use, it has ultimately saved us a lot of money. I've even started making my own natural zero waste makeup, Leigh.
No way.
Yeah, and it seems to be going really well, and lots of local zero waste shops want to stock it.
Well, I'll just take a few. Oh, I'll take that one too, all right. So when did you decide to go green?
I suppose when we moved into this house, we reduced a lot of our belongings. We just liked living in a more clutter-free environment, and looking at minimalism a bit more sort of goes hand in hand with environmentally friendly issues because they complement each other. And I suppose it really sort of went from there.
But how easy has it been to go green with a family, because you've got 2 children?
In some ways it can be really hard, and I sympathise with a lot of people because we live in a really consumer-driven society. Even if you're trying to be a more conscious consumer, it's really hard to find things that aren't smothered in unnecessary packaging.
So have you got any tips for me to go greener?
Remember the 5 R's. That's refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle and rot. It's better to have a lot of people making a very small change than to have a handful of people doing it perfectly.
So that's it. My challenge is over for now. Thanks for getting in touch. It's probably going to be the first and last time I'll ever present a programme in my slippers. Let's be honest. Let's get the weather now with Alex, who's in the studio.
Thanks, Lee. I like those slippers a lot. So we're almost at the end of this cloudy period of weather, and things are going to change during the course of the weekend. It is staying cloudy for tonight, though, and we're likely to see some mist and fog patches, but not particularly cold, down to around 4 Celsius. There could be also a few spots of light rain or drizzle. So this is the high pressure that's kept things really settled over the last few days, but a lot of cloud has been around. We're going to see changes by Sunday as this weather front pushes in from the west. So to start the day tomorrow, a lot of cloud around and possibly a few spots of light rain or drizzle. We may see a few brighter spells through the day tomorrow, maybe even some sunshine. So a sign that things are changing, that changes are on the way. 7 or 8 Celsius, so not particularly warm, but things are going to turn milder into Sunday. In a moment, the national weather's coming up and winds freshening for Sunday with a band of rain pushing through later, and then it will turn colder and brighter to start next week.